I recently released some training called Rigging for Modelers in Blender, and the purpose of the training is to make rigging accessible to everyone and to show you how useful rigging can be even if you're not an animator. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a simple rig to create an exploded view of this car model. All you need to do is to grab this gizmo, and as you move it up and down, you can see that the bonnet and the doors move in and out of the model. This is a very simple rig to create, and it's super useful for any hard surface modeler. So let's dive in. So the starting point is the car model with both the doors and the bonnet as separate meshes. And the first thing I'm going to do is to add a circle curve into the scene to use as a controller for my rig. So hit Shift A, go to curve and select circle. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And the reason that I'm using a circle curve instead of an empty is because I can add geometry nodes to a curve, which I can't do with an empty. I'm going to go to the curve properties and scroll down to the geometry section. Let's give it a little bit of thickness, and this is just going to make it easier to select in the viewport. Just remember to turn the render visibility of the curve off if you're going to do a final render. I'm also going to increase the resolution just so it's not jaggy in the viewport. And just to finish it off, I'm also going to add a material. Let's make it bright red, and that's just going to make it easier to see. So with that curve selected, I'm going to make sure that this panel is set to the Geometry Nodes editor, and I'm going to click on New. Let's zoom into the workspace. And what I want to do is to add a gizmo that's going to control the height of the curve. So step one will be to add a transform geometry node. I hit Shift A and search for that. Let's drop that here. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see the nodes more clearly. So the height of this circle is going to control the operation of the rig. So I need to affect the Z translation channel. And in order to isolate that from the other translation channels, I'm going to need a combine XYZ node. Let's drop that here, connect it to the translation input of the transform node. And then I'm going to take the Z input and connect that to the group input. So now when the curve is selected and we go to the modifiers tab, this Z channel is exposed. I'm going to hit the N key to open the side panel, and I want to select this Z input channel, and let's just limit the minimum and maximum. So I'm going to set the minimum to 0, and let's set the maximum to 1 for now. And that just means that this value is going to be constrained by these parameters. So I can't go below 0 or above 1. And I want to drive the rig with a gizmo. So to do this, I'm going to select the group input and hit Shift D to duplicate it. I hit Shift A and search for gizmo. Let's grab a linear gizmo, drop it here. I'm going to take the value of the gizmo and connect it to that Z input channel. And you can see that we now have the gizmo in the viewport. I'm going to check this button to keep it visible. And now if I just drag on the gizmo, you can see that the circle moves up. And if I drag, it moves down. The only issue is when I move it up, the gizmo stays at the origin and doesn't follow along with the curved circle. But that is very easy to fix because I can use this same parameter to drive the position of the gizmo along with the circle curve. So I'll just take this vector output and plug it into the position input of the gizmo node. And now as I drag up on the gizmo, you can see that it's following the circle. So in this exposed Z channel, we now have a value that goes between 0 and 1. And I want to use that value as a driver to drive the position of the doors and the bonnet. But I'm going to keep all of the driven values within the same 0 to 1 range just to make my life easier, because doing all of the maths in the driver's editor is A, less accessible, and B, much more complicated than using geometry nodes. So let me just reset the position of my controller. And next I'm going to select the car door. With that door selected, I'm going to click on New to create a new Geometry Nodes workspace. And I'm going to hit Shift A and search for Set Position. Let's drop a Set Position node here. And what I can do is to use the offset parameter to drive the X position of the door. So once again, I'm going to need a combine XYZ node. Let's drop that here, move the group input to the left, connect that to the offset input of the Set Position node. And then I'm going to expose the X-axis as a group input. Let's select it in the side panel. And once again, I'm going to assign a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 1. And so this X parameter is using the exact same 0 to 1 range as the exposed parameter on the circle controller. And that's going to make it much easier to drive it with that parameter. There is, however, a hitch, and that is that for this door, I'm going to need to switch the movement in the X-axis. But that's going to be really easy to do with a math node. So first of all, I'm just going to rename this Geometry Nodes workspace to Door 1. I'll select my controller. I'm going to rename its workspace to controller. I'm going to locate the exposed Z channel parameter, right click on it, and I'm going to copy the data path. Then I'm going to reselect my door, and I want to add a driver to this exposed X position. So let's right click on it, go to add driver. As my object, I'm going to select the Bezier circle. I'm going to change the variable to single property, and I'm going to paste the data path that I just copied into it. So now this X parameter is being driven by this Z parameter. And if I move the circle up, the car door is going to move along with it. But of course, I'm going to need to switch the direction. So currently it's being offset from 0 to +1 in the X-axis. And what I need to do is to offset it from 0 to -1 in the X-axis. So I'm going to select the door. Let's just make a little bit of room here. I'm going to hit Shift-A and search for math. Let's grab a math node. And in order to switch the movement from positive to negative, all I need to do is to take the driven value and subtract it from 0. So I'm going to switch the operator in the math node to subtract. Let's take this X value and plug it into the B input. I'm going to set the A value to 0, and then I'm going to connect that into the X input of the combine node. And now, as you can see, the movement is being driven correctly. And now the other thing you can do is to remap the 0 to 1 value with a multiply node to more or less anything you want. If you want the car door to move further out, just multiply it by a value higher than 1. Or if you want to limit the range of movement to something smaller, multiply the value by something less than 1. So I'll reselect the car door. Let's make a little bit of room. Hit Shift-A, search for math once again. Grab a math node, just drop it here. I'm going to change the operator to multiply. And because the B value is set to 0.5, you can see the distance has been halved. But let's try something like 0.7. And that, I think, is working really nicely. And as you can see, doing it with nodes this way is much, much easier than trying to do all of this in the driver's editor. Another benefit of using geometry nodes is that they're very easy to reuse. So let's take a look at the other side of the car. I'm going to select this door, and I'm going to click on New to add another Geometry Nodes workspace, and I'm going to select the Door 1 workspace. Now that gives us a great starting point, but of course on this side, I'm going to need the door to move in the positive axis. So I'm going to click on this icon to make this node graph unique. I'm going to take the Subtract node, and I'll hit Ctrl X to remove it from the node graph. And once again, of course, I'm going to need to drive this exposed X parameter. So I'm going to reselect my controller, right click on the Z value, copy the data path, reselect the door, and then right click on the X value, go to Add Driver. I'm going to select the Bezier circle as my object, set it to single property, and paste that path in. And now, of course, if I select the circle and just drag the gizmo, both of the doors are being affected. Next, I'm going to do the bonnet. So let's zoom out a little bit. And I want this to move forward and up a little bit, and also to rotate very slightly as it moves. So I'm going to create a variation of the node graph on the doors. So with the bonnet selected, let's click on New. I'm going to select the duplicate door graph, and I'm also going to make this unique. Let's rename it to bonnet. I'll hit the N key to dismiss the side panel, just so I have a little bit more room in this node graph. And I'm going to go straight to the exposed X parameter. Let's add a driver. As usual, I'm going to select the Bezier circle as the driving object. Let's change the variable to a single property and paste the path in. Of course, I'm going to need to adapt this node graph, because if I grab the controller and move it up, the bonnet is moving sideways, and that's obviously not what I want. I'll reselect the bonnet. Let's make a bit of room here. I'm going to hit Shift-A and search for Transform, just to add a transform geometry node here, and that's going to allow me to add some rotation. I'm going to disconnect the input from the combine node, and let's just take a look at the kind of values that I would like to add. So I want some movement on the Y in the negative axis and some movement on the Z in the positive axis. I'll move everything up. Let's also move this multiply node up a little bit and move it to the right. I hit Shift-A and search for math. Grab a math node, set it to subtract, take the X input and connect that to the B input of this node. Set the A value to 0, and then I'm going to connect that into the multiply node, line everything up. And let's take this value and plug it into the Y input of the combine node. And then I can simply tweak the B value of the multiply node to fine tune exactly how far I want this bonnet to move. Then I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate the multiply node. I'm going to take the input from the group input and plug that into the A input, and then plug all of this into the Z input of the combine node. Once again, I'm just going to tweak this multiply value to control exactly how far up the bonnet is moving. I'm also going to want to rotate this on the X axis. So let's select the combine node, hit Shift D to duplicate it, drag it over here, just reset all these values to 0. I'm going to plug that into the rotation input of the transform geometry node. And now if I just tweak this X value, you can see I can rotate the bonnet. So I'll select this multiply node, hit Shift D to duplicate it. I'm going to set the B value to something quite low like 0.3. Connect the exposed X input to the A value and connect that to the X channels that I want to rotate. And now hopefully if I select my controller and just move it up and down, you can see that the entire rig is working beautifully. And by keeping all the driving and driven values within the range of 0 to 1, we've kept the workflow really simple because all of the maths is being done by the nodes, and we can actually tweak the values interactively to get exactly the result that we want. So I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching. So if you found this interesting, I strongly recommend you check out my course, Rigging for Modelers in Blender. It's full of practical examples just like this one.